All right, we're now recording. So welcome you guys. I've missed seeing you guys all after Christmas break and having last week off. And again, I'm so sorry. I thought I had posted that we weren't going to do a call last week. I'm so sorry for that confusion. Um, but we're here this week, and I really appreciated everybody messaging me saying, "Hey, are you doing a call?" Like being on it last week. Clearly, you were more on top of it than I was. So I really appreciated all of the love, text messages, reminders that I hadn't announced that we weren't doing a call. Um, anyway, so yeah, what I wanted to talk to you guys about today was leadership. I think it's a really good topic to discuss before the new year, and um, talking about what it takes to be a leader, what your definition. I would love for everyone to think about. It's why I posted early this morning. What you what's your definition of a leader? Who do you see as a leader? What are those qualities? And ask yourself, if the qualities that you see in a leader, are you also embodying those same qualities? And if not, why? So, so I want to talk about in Forbes magazine and in other articles they've done traits of great leadership. So there's 9 traits of great leadership that I want to talk to you guys about today. And I have it written down, so I could take pictures and send it to you guys if you don't want to write them down, which is totally fine. That way you can just sit and listen. But I'm more of a pen and paper person. I don't have it on a screen or a slideshow. I wasn't that with it today to do any of that, unfortunately. But so number 1 is awareness, and having awareness of the difference between management and employees, and that's general leadership in like an official, like a different, not like an MLM like this, but in a regular leadership ladder status in like a corporate company. But leaders, they always conduct themselves in a way that sets them apart, and not in a manner that suggests that they are better than others, but in a way that permits them to remain objective about their business. So if you see some of our top leaders, if you see like, number 1 is Melanie Mitro, number 2 is Bonnie Engel, you don't see them really talking about that very much. You don't see them flaunting that or acting like they're better than other people. I've private messaged Melanie before, and she doesn't ignore my messages. She responds to it. When she does her Business Tip Tuesdays, she always asks that people send her messages to give her feedback. And to me, that is such a great quality for a leader. Yes, she leads from the front and she leads by example, but she's very humble. And she's constantly aware of her business and where she's at. And it's the same thing that, the same qualities that every coach needs to have, is being totally aware of how all their coaches are doing, where they're at, mentally, emotionally, what their business is, what their goals are. So, and that's the big, important for these team calls and coach one-on-one calls with your mentor, whether it's your upline or, another mentor. That's why it's so important, is that someone knows what your goals are to help hold you accountable. Being aware and in a way that permits them to remain objective about their business and where it is and where they're at. So to me, that is like number 1, is just simple awareness, and mindfulness. And we could do a whole other call on mindfulness. I mean, that's like a whole other thing, being mindful in your business, being mindful just with who you are and with your everyday life. So that's number 1, is awareness. Number 2 is decisiveness. All leaders are forced to make tough decisions, and we do it all the time. In order to have time to manage your business, for example, it's important to say no, and when you need to, no matter how difficult it is. To me, that's a big, that's a tough decision for a lot of CEOs of their own companies, and for a lot of leaders to do, is to simply say no. And that's why I'm using that as the example. Tough decisions have to be made sometimes. And since we're a business about helping others, that can be really difficult to do, to say no to help someone else when they need help, to set up those boundaries if you need time. So, talking about that, I want you to consider for your business, what percentage of time are you spending building your team and coaches and building your business? And to me, I thought that was the same thing until it was identified as two separate things. Like, building your team and your coaches is great, but you have to think about what percentage, where is your income coming from? Is it coming from, your downline and you're, going from that? Or is it coming from, at this time, your commissions? And where most coaches are at when they first begin, or the first couple of years, is through commissions and through building their team at first. Then it's, business building and et cetera. So you have to consider what percentage of time. 70 to 85% needs to be on recruiting and focusing on your business, doing your scripts, and really honing in on the best system you have that work for your people and your target market for challenge groups, the most effective way for you to run a challenge group. And the rest of the time is helping your downline. We have so many resources in the back office, for example, since I'll use Dora as an example, I always like calling people out when if they're on my screen. So, Dora, is newer and wanting to jump in, kind of looking at coaching, and I've sent her, a training video, one to start with. And then, I'm also going to start, and she doesn't even know this yet, so she's finding out right now. I'm going to direct her towards our back office and show her how to navigate the back office and go through their Coach Basics training. And then my training videos that I have are to fill in the gaps between those that are specifically tailored to my team and what they've needed, what sort of roadblocks they've come up against, what they need. Because if we're going to reinvent the wheel, then, it's an incredible waste of time. Unless you have that time, then sure, go ahead, redo all of Lindsay Matway's videos. But nobody got time for that. So, my job is to guide and to show my downline that I'm here for them when they need it. And that time is spent on one-on-one coach calls. That is where the time is really spent. That's where the 20% is coming from. The 80% is, recruiting and focusing on your business. And that can be really hard for people when recruiting doesn't come naturally, because you don't want to sound salesy. You don't want to reach out to somebody for the sake of, at some point, them having a challenge pack. And, I have gained so many friends from this business who they haven't bought a challenge pack, but I friended them on Facebook for the sake of, like they said, add 3 to 5 friends a day on social media. And they have become really good friends of mine, and that they haven't bought a challenge pack. They're really great. So when you lead like that and know that it's okay to just have friends, I feel like you sound less salesy. Once I took that out and I said, the challenge pack is not my goal. My new friend that had a baby, like, she has asked me about Shakeology before, but I don't bug her about it. She's a really good friend that I connect with, like, emotionally, and I really like her, and to me that matters more than her buying a challenge pack and, getting that sale. So, so making the tough decisions, being able to say no, and deciding, being decisive about where you're going to spend your time on your business, and the difference between business building and business related activities. So that's decisiveness. Number 3, empathy. Having a genuine concern for problems that may arise for your team members. And to me, this is really important for our business, having empathy. And I think it's really important. And you can, leaders, they look for constructive solutions, and they focus on then moving forward from the problem. I think that's incredibly important in this business. And again, that's sometimes I think why coaches get a little wrapped up sometimes is, having genuine concern, and they kind of get wrapped up in the drama or what can become dramatic, and instead of, being more systematic about it, finding a solution, implementing solution, learning from that, and then you move forward. You just move forward. So for me, that is definitely number 3. Number 4 is accountability. So extraordinary leaders, they take responsibility for everyone's performance, including their own. I feel personally responsible for all of my downline. That is why when Valency is in a place where she cannot, help Dora, and again, I'm using this as an example because this is what's happening right now, this month, I am responsible for my downline. And it is my job to make sure that my downline feels supported. Dora knows that she can call me no matter what if Valency's not available. And that's the idea of having an upline, is I am responsible for everyone below me, and so she knows she can come to me and I can help, I can point her in the right direction, or I can aid her in something, especially if, again, being aware of your team and what's going on with your team. I have reached out to Dora knowing that part of my team is very distracted right now, balancing different parts of her life. So knowing that and being aware of that, I then reach out to Dora, make sure she's okay, she's set, and so having that accountability, I feel incredibly accountable for my team. And when things are going well, give praise, give tons of praise. That's like my favorite part of this whole business. Reward people for reaching Success Club, or reward people for, I just drew a blank. Reward people for reaching Emerald, Ruby, Diamond, 1 star. That is so fun and exciting. And when things are not, going well, identify the problem quickly. You seek the solutions and you get people back on track. You get your whole team on track as a team. And leaders see things like this not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity. And that's something that Keisha Fitzgerald said on the National Wake Up Call. If you saw it, oh dear God, please go see it and listen to it if you haven't listened to it yet. It is phenomenal. And it was something that she said, and I've heard many of the leaders in our business say this. People are afraid of objections, and that's natural at first, but objections are a great way to gain a deeper level of understanding and a deeper conversation with someone. It is a great opportunity. Keisha said she found out that her target market is not people like her who just jumped in and bought a challenge pack. Okay, sure, no questions asked. I'm at the end of my rope. I don't know what else to do. But really, her target market is people that ask questions, people that, that she could develop a deeper relationship with because they asked questions first, because then that gave her an opportunity. She saw that objection as an opportunity instead of a roadblock. So an opportunity to grow and learn. So that's accountability. 5 is confidence. And I think that comes out huge. And that's why it is so great when you have someone who is a customer first and a challenger, and then they're a coach. Because first of all, then they're confident with this business because they believe in it and they already love Shakeology. They already love the programs. They've already lost, 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds and above, with this program. Or even if they didn't need to lose weight, they already feel the results that they wanted with the community that we have through our challenge groups. And so, not only are the best leaders confident, but their confidence is contagious. I can feel when I'm listening to a call from another leader, oh my God, I walk away fired up. I mean, do you guys not, I see Pam's posts in our Synergy group and she's like, I just watched Melanie Mitro. I'm feeling fired up. I could run a marathon right now. I am friggin' on it. Like, I love it. It's because she's feeding off that confidence, and it is contagious. I swear to you, it is so contagious. It's like a virus. And, when you lead being you, that is when and how you will attract your tribe. And that is, that's what Keisha discussed on the National Wake Up Call, attracting who you want for you. So when you're leading from the front and you're being contagious in a healthy way, and you are, just being 100% you and 100% honest, you're throwing like fun truth bombs that are so you're going to attract the right people. And you have that confidence in you and in confidence in your product, or just, confidence in your own business. Being a coach requires you to go against the grain, to stand out, and, sometimes, and to be the shiniest tool in the tool shed, which is, it came up with that while my mom's making faces behind the screen right now. So if I'm getting distracted, it's because she's being immature. And it requires you, don't support her. Don't laugh. He's laughing. It requires you to go against the grain, to stand out and be the shiniest tool in the tool shed, which is hard because tools rust. I thought it was a really great analogy. And that isn't always easy. It is not always easy. I have friends that don't support it. I've I'll say this, I'm not going to say it as loud. I have family that don't support it, that think it's ridiculous and silly. And, I've had, family members say, Catherine, don't you feel bad duping people into this? I mean, I had family say that to my face. And I was like, I don't feel bad because I don't feel like I'm duping them at all. I have had almost all of my challengers actually say to me, thank you for sending me that invite. I wouldn't have done it had you not said, do you want to join my next challenge group? And so it does require you to go against the grain, and that's not always easy, and that requires confidence. Number 6, optimism. And to me, that also goes with confidence. It is the very best leaders are a source of positive energy. And in this business, as all of us have experienced, it isn't always easy to remain optimistic. And this company knows that. Carl Daikeler is a genius. And you know why Carl Daikeler is a genius? Because he has the national wake-up call every single Monday. Every week we have we have a new coach talking about something in the business. We have Super Saturdays every 3 months. We have then Summit. So we have Super Saturdays to get us to Summit. And we have the national wake-up calls to get us to Super Saturdays. They know that this is hard. They know that this can be draining. And these guys are so smart. This is like the perfect business because they have it set up so that if you need inspiration, if you need something, I log in, I grab my phone, if I'm feeling cruddy, I grab my phone, I go, all right, I'm feeling really crappy. Go to my little podcast app, and I just click on, National Wake Up Call replays. It's right here. I could just play one right now starting from 2012, 52 a year since 2012 are on here. And I'm up to 2014, I believe. I've listened to all of them in the past. You have access to so many resources from Beachbody to support you, to help keep you optimistic when you're not at your best. When you're not feeling at your best, you're not feeling it, it's hard. It takes time. So it can feel draining, and it can be it's hard to constantly be helpful and genuinely concerned about other people's welfare. It's not always easy, but it's a must. And you have to have a solution constantly you got to work out a solution with your downline. It's a lot to manage, and so to maintain that positive energy and to maintain being up here, you've got to listen to these, read personal development. This is the reason that one of the 4 vital behaviors in our company is personal development. This is why, because it can be hard to maintain optimism. It can be hard. And again, like this month, just like Brianne was saying before our call, oh yeah, people are upset because they're not making Success Club this month because it's a rough month, blah, blah, blah. That it's so hard to constantly maintain that energy, So that is what this company's for. That is what these team calls are for. That is what we are all here for. That is the purpose of Synergy Alliance. That is the purpose of our team page, is to keep the positivity and the positive energy flowing, so that if Brianne's not feeling it one night, she doesn't mind. She doesn't have to feel it, because I feel it enough for her tonight. Or if I'm not feeling it, I can feel it during Pam's post when she's like, holy crap, I just watched the Melanie Mitro video and I am literally ready to take on the world. That is why we are here and why we have this group, why we have these calls every week. And honestly, this last week, I was feeling pretty down, not only because I was sick, if you can't tell from my voice, it's a little iffy, but also because we missed our call. I really feel so energized after these calls. So, number 7 is honesty. Being honest with yourself, with your business, your coaches, your clients, your goals helps build a trusting, close-knit team. And honesty, effort, and reliability, those are what form the foundation of success and the foundation of a really good team that synergizes together. Get it? Synergy Alliance, yeah? Because I think that we all make a great team together. And I think that a big part of that is because we're all honest with each other. We drop truth bombs on each other. I'm in group messages with like pretty much all of you, and we're just like being saucy back and forth, and it feels great. And that also helps keep that optimism and that positive energy flowing. Number 8. I'm almost done, guys. Number 8, focus. And this is something that I always struggle with constantly. Extraordinary leaders, they plan ahead, they're extremely organized, and they're laser focused on their goals. Focus can be difficult when there's so much to do as a coach. Just like Dora said before this call, I said, did you watch that video? I sent her one. And she's like, it's overwhelming. And I said, that's why I've sent one. We haven't talked about it since. We do one at a time. And you take it in. And sometimes you watch it 2 or 3 times. You listen to it when you're doing the dishes once. That's the first time, just to enjoy it. You listen to it a second time to write it down. That's to kind of let it sink in. And then you maybe listen to it again and you read over your notes for what you want to implement. It requires focus, and there's so much part to this business. There's so many aspects to this business that you can choose to focus on, whether it's watching your own trainings to grow yourself, doing personal development, doing all the vital behaviors. Then there's recruiting. Then there's training your coaches. And that's why I brought up earlier, where are you spending your most time? Are you spending it on the business building stuff, or is it business related? Because there's so much to do, and so focus is hard, but it's so necessary. And you can train yourself to become focused. There's like 7 personal development books about how to train yourself to focus. Number 9, inspiration. So when you put all of these, when you put 1 through 8 together, what emerges is a picture of a truly inspirational leader. And it's someone who communicates clearly, communicates concisely, and communicates often. And doing so motivates everyone else to do all of their best all the time. And it's our jobs to challenge our people by setting high but attainable standards and expectations, and then giving them the support, tools, training, and latitude to pursue those goals and become the team that you envision. So I'm going to turn it around to you guys as I make sure that, another couple questions I want you guys to ask yourselves as we go into the new year is, what does being a leader mean to you? And in this business, I think, okay, being a leader, are you constantly being innovative in both your challenge groups and with your coaches? Are you offering your help and leadership positions? For example, as soon as I started coaching, I had no idea what I was doing, but I had told Amanda, 2.5 years ago, is that when I joined 2.5 years ago? I was like, oh, I'd love to lead a call sometime. And she was just kind of like, like you're just a little baby 1-month-old coach, I'd love for you to sometime, I think she said. Something, you know what I mean? She said something like, you will. But the idea was I wanted to, and I wanted to do that. So are you doing leadership things? You're going to need to host your own team calls. So are you reaching out to me and saying, like Brianne's like, yeah, I'd love to do a training on how to run an ad. And, because that's something that I'm learning and working on right now is figuring out how to run an ad. And Brianne was like, I'm ready. I'd love to. Just tell me when and I'll prepare for it. And I would love to discuss with everybody how to run a Facebook ad. Okay, great. Done. I mean, that's leadership skill number 1 is doing those things, offering, jumping in, seeing where you can be additive value to your team and to your coaches and to your challenge groups and to the people around you. And are some of your goals big leadership goals? For example, I've got my goals right here, and they're pretty lofty. So aside from the lofty 3-star diamond, blah, 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 I want to qualify for the New Leader Retreat, which has in and of itself its own set of requirements. I also want to be elite qualified. I want to host a national wake-up call. And I want to help, what was the other one that I decided? I looked through my list and I said, okay, are some of my goals, are they goals of a leader? Are they, in the beginning I asked you, people that you find that you consider a leader, are you doing what they're doing? So it's like, well, to me, Keisha Fitzgerald is like my gal. She's my girl. She's my jam. And she hosted a national wake-up call. And I was like, God, I've wanted to do that ever since and I was like, sorry. Why, haven't I put host national wake-up call on my dang dream board? It's going on now, So are you putting on your dream board leadership-esque goals, not just 3-star diamond? Because what does that mean? Qualify that, So I'm going to turn it around to you guys so you don't have to hear my crackly, squeaky voice anymore. And I'm going to start with the first person in the screen, unless there's someone that has to run off. Like, Brianne, you don't have to jump off this time? Okay, awesome. Then I'm just going to go with the first person on my screen next to me. Pam, tell me what qualities of a leader do you see, and what do you feel you embody as a leader, and what does leadership mean to you?
Well, my favorite author right now is John C. Maxwell, and I want to get one of his books. But I've just been reading some of his stuff, and one of his descriptions is leaders must be close enough to relate to others, but far enough ahead to motivate them. And I thought that was pretty ingenious, and a good way to put it. You can be a leader, but yet you've still got to have your momentum, and you've still got to be leading, but yet you've still got to be close enough to your coaches to be able to know what's going on with them. We'll just leave it there. And this one was a huge one. When a leader lacks confidence, the followers lack commitment. So that's one of my things this year that I'm going to work on, is my confidence in inviting, because that scares me to death. So confidence is going to be big for me this year, and then commitment into what I've started. I'm going to see it through. I don't want to quit. I'm not going to quit. Let's just put it that way. I'm not quitting.
Good. And you've got the confidence to back it up. You have an amazing success story with Beachbody programs too. You know, I mean, Danielle Natoni was already fit and funky. She was already fit before she joined Beachbody, you know, so she had to develop confidence in a different way. You've got confidence like, you know, hey, I lost, you know, a ton of weight just by doing this and by drinking Shakeology every day. I mean, you have that confidence to back you anyway, you know, and that is such a, you know, an empowering, quality for you as a coach, you know, because a lot of coaches don't have that before after story, you know, transformation. Right. So I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Brianne, how about you?
Just so you know, Pam, you have us all fooled if you don't feel you have confidence, because you come across extremely confident for me, in my opinion. Excuse me. I'm just getting over a nasty cough that, we won't go there. You should see the cough drops I have. A leader is someone that is willing to get in the trenches with you and work with you and beside you, help you get in and do the dirty work. You know that saying they say, you're only as strong as your weakest link. So that's kind of my theory about it. I'm only going to be as strong as I know it sounds awful when I say it though, but you know, my first coaches that have just signed up, I need to be down there with them and work with them to build themselves up. So that is what a leader does. What was the other part?
Oh, just what, another part? You know, different qualities that you see that you look up to in certain leaders, and what you feel like you embody as a leader.
I look up to the person, my mentor, and as well as I know you guys have known, I'm working with a John C. Maxwell leadership coach as well, and I look up to both of those ladies because they both hustle really hard, and they got to the point where they don't have to work. They can work from wherever, whenever. They take a week off, they need to take a day off, they can. Like, I totally look up to them. They inspire me, and that's where I want to be. So I try to give that model to my coaches and help them as much as I can, if, you know, because I want to be there for them the way that my coach was there for me, if that makes sense. Or my mentors and my leadership coach is there for me to help inspire me. So I want to give them the same that I got.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Awesome. Dora, how about you?
Well, I have a very perfect option for a leader because my boss at work is pretty impressive. She, her her biggest things are she's always positive no matter what is going wrong with our company or that day. She's very confident, and she doesn't take anything personally. And that's a big one for me because I take every little slight personally. And so I'm trying to be more like her in that respect, because it is really hard when somebody says, no, I think you're an idiot and you shouldn't, this isn't working for you. And, you know, you haven't lost enough weight yet, so Beachbody can't work and stuff like that. So it's been hard for me to not take that personally, because a lot of it isn't just the shakes. It's what you do, and it's how you do it, and all of the nutrition, and it's a whole package. So it's been, so that's one of the things I'm working on it for being a better leader, is to not take things so personally. But I think I'm doing pretty good with the positivity and the confidence. So those are the main ones for me.
That's a good point, is taking criticism. You know, I was on a call with my coach yesterday, and you know, she had said, well, I don't want to sound like and I'm not going to say the B word on our call, but you know what it is. And I said, no, I won't. Just tell me, like, you know, it's not going to help me for you to sound nice if you need to say something, you know, if it's harsh, you know. So, you know, just tell me, and let's have an open discussion. And again, that's the honesty, you know, and you're just being truthful with your team and your coaches, you know. So that's great. Darla, how about you?
Sorry. Internet keeps dropping, so I'm not catching all the words.
What do you think is a good leader?
Because it was like, it kept fading, it kept fading out, and it was like every other word, and I'm like, what's going on? And their internet just dropped. So here I am, back. Okay, so I heard Catherine say something to me. What did she say? Hello? Anyone?
She said, what makes a good leader? Are you there?
Oh, my audio was muted. Sorry. Do you want me to repeat all the questions, Darla?
Well, I saw your mouth move, and I thought you were trying to mess with me again.
No, what do you look up? What sort of traits in leaders that you look up to have, and what traits in a leader, you know, do you think you embody? And you know, hold on, I'm sorry, guys. It's been certainly a rough day. What does being a leader mean to you? I want to put it properly.
I think being a leader means that you're not going to give up. It means that even when, I can't say the word I want to say, even when things are not going as you think they are going to go. Catherine's smiling because she doesn't know what to say. Even when things are not going the way you think, you got two choices: to give and to bail, or to stick with it. And there's that graphic that's out there of the miner, you know, chipping away for gems. And he's had a hard, you know, he's chipping away, and he finally just gives up and goes. And, you know, he's like this close to hitting the diamond. Well, it's easier to bolt. Okay. It's easier. Gosh, I want to be nice. It's easier to sit there and say, I've had enough. I can't do this. To go to jump. And this is not about anybody else. This is my perspective. It's easier to not care. It is easier to not show up. It is easier to not be in touch with your coaches. It is easier to sit there and say, well, I'll just take the commissions off of my coach's work, or I mean, my coaches who are working the business, or, you know, not have commissions or whatever we want to do. It's harder to be accountable. It's harder to show up. It's harder to be honest. It's hard to say that, you know, this business is not for the faint of heart. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. We all know this. It is constantly honing who you are, being who you say that you are, and then showing up. So I think the traits that embody a leader is a leader who, kind of like John C. Maxwell says, if you lead people effectively, it doesn't mean that people are under you. It could be people next to you, above you, anywhere you are in an industry. But it's like whatever Carl Deichler says, we believe in what he says. Whatever Melanie Mitro says, we're like on board. She could sit there and say, tomorrow I want you to go on Amazon, and buy pooper scoopers because it'll make your better business. And we will go out and do it because we trust their word. So I think when you are a leader, you inspire others, and then they want it for you, or they want it for you more than you want it for yourself. I've always said how I feel is I want my coaches to succeed. And, if they outrank me and they want to be like 3-4 star diamond and I'm not there yet, then go for it. Keep going. I'm not going to hold them back. I'm going to be in the cheering section. I'm going to be the one saying, I think this is great. I think you could do this. And bounce ideas off of me, see what I can do to help. So do I think I have all the traits to be a leader? I sure hope to crap I do. Am I perfect? Absolutely not. I fail a lot. I fail all the time. But in the end, I am extremely proud of my coaches. I am extremely proud of my coach sisters. Am I 100% on point when life gets completely crazy? No. I mean, I'm not 100% on point. But I don't think there's been probably more than 5 to 7 days that I don't talk to my coaches. They're amazing women, and they're my friends, and I adore them. I've got one on the call right here who just blows me out of the water. She's like, I want to make you proud of me. And I'm like, are you kidding? I want you to be proud of me. So it's like when I see Brianne texted me earlier. I was like, Brianne texted me. I'll see something from Catherine, and that's it. You start, even when I think Valency texted me several weeks ago, I was like really excited. That's it. It is this fellowship and this bonding. And I want everyone to succeed. And I know it's not easy. It's not. There's all kinds of, I guess, MLM things out there and schemes and get rich quick. But I think that we're all here for a reason, and we're all hanging in for a reason. Even if we are just chipping away tons of rock and we haven't gotten to the end of the diamonds yet. But I think it's there. So I don't know if did I say everything I was supposed to say? But that's how I feel.
Awesome, Darla. Awesome. Thank you. What did Brianne say? When I got something in the mail, I knew exactly who it was from. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much, Darla. You always have such a good way with words. Did you want to say anything? Since you're actually able to make the call today, go ahead.
What's being a leader mean to me? Well, I kind of look at it like this. There's an accident on the freeway, and 500 cars behind the accident drive right by it. They slow down. They freak out. They don't know what to do. And then one guy pulls over and helps the person out of the car and tries to make sure that the scene is safe and, directs traffic and does all that accordingly until police arrive or ambulance, whatever. And that person is the leader because they were able to make concise and accurate decisions in an unexpected time. They didn't just follow the pack of 500 cars that freaked out, didn't know what the hell to do during the accident. So it's just making big decisions in unexpected times. And that's all I got for you.
And I think part of that again is going against the grain along, doing what everybody else is doing and driving right past an accident to make sure you get past it, and you don't want to get caught in traffic or whatever, and doing the opposite of what everyone else is doing. And that is, one of the hardest parts about this business is meeting resistance. Darla, is a great example of meeting lots of resistance with her business, and and not everyone in her life going like rooting, yay, like hoorah for Darla and like woohoo, and same with me. It's just if you meet resistance with friends or family, and you just keep going, you're Dory, you just keep going, just keep swimming, and you keep going because you know what your goal is, and staying laser focused on that. So I hope that this helps, everybody feel ready and excited to lead from the front with the new year. And I want, for the next few months, I want everyone to reach out to me with a way that they would like to host one of our Synergy Alliance team calls. Value that they feel like they could bestow on us, about it, whether it's something about having to do with personal development or an aspect about the business that they're passionate about. And I want everyone to reach out to me and, tell me, what they'd like to host the call with. There's my shout out to you guys to do my call to action. So I hope that everybody has a good evening, and Darla, you're going to stay on, but I'll stop the recording now. But thank you guys so much.